So, I was recently thinking about the movie John Q and the overall conversation of healthcare, right? Within the context of that movie, I remember seeing, his character. He was going through so many things, and he was really trying to get adequate healthcare for his child, for his son. That is the premise of the movie, basically. And within the context of that movie, I remember watching that one as a kid, within the early 2000s. And I said to myself then, man, like, why can't people get adequate health care? I think they should be well able and more than qualified to receive adequate health care, right? Exactly. So fast forward to years and progression and everything like that, there's still this conversation going on here in America and around the world about the lack of adequate health care. In the context of, do people deserve it and do they actually qualify for it? Now, at my job, my 9 to 5, we actually deal with Medicare clients, a lot of them 65 and older. You would be so surprised at how many calls we get where they do not have adequate health care, or their plans have expired or something like that. And I'm just wondering, again, because movies often tell the pulse of a day, of a year, and of a moment. What will adequate health care look like? And will we have real life John Q's that come out of the woods and from the backside of mountains and stuff to really rectify this issue of a deficiency in their health care? Will people have violent reactions because they do not have adequate health care? In that movie, John Q, he had a very violent reaction. He had a reaction because he was not able to have adequate health care. The context of the day was not serving him, and things just were not going according to his plan. So within that movie, if you have seen the movie John Q, you know what I'm referring to. If you have not seen the movie, I encourage you to watch it. Within that space, he had a very violent reaction to the lack and the deficiency of health care for his own child. So my point with this is just to remind people that, number one, movies do speak about real life. Number two, everybody should have adequate health care. I do believe that everybody should qualify for adequate health care. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you are on. As far as money and revenue goes, I do believe you should have adequate health care. We have that basic right. Also, another point is that there should be more conversation around the spaces of adequate health care or the deficiency in it, and why there isn't enough consistency with the money for people to have adequate health care. Absolutely. I agree, Jazz. I agree. There's a need for more medical justice. There is a need. And he had to be intentional with that within that movie. I remember, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it did randomly cross my mind that there was a specific internal frustration with him because he wasn't able to get the health care that he really deserved. Even to the point where he was like, listen, if I don't get this health care, I am going to end it all, and my son can have my heart. Absolutely, comrade. Absolutely. That message is still so relevant today. anytime that movie is brought up, because again, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I, in my 9 to 5 work, we work with Medicare clients. We are there daily, Monday through Friday, talking to Medicare clients on the phone at the call center that I work at. And thank you, brother. Love you, man. Love you guys. Like we're talking to them often about, would you like to get a new plan or something like that? And a lot of them cannot afford it. They cannot afford it for one reason or another. And I really have to hold in, like, while I'm there, like the empathy that's needed in those moments has to be beyond your own human self, because one half of me wants to say, man, like I'm sorry that this system has failed you. And it doesn't matter who's president either. Like it's failed on both sides. Or if you're liberal, Republican, Democrat, you don't believe in anything, whatever. I mean, the system itself, or the matrix, as if you will, has failed so many people. And that movie really shined that message more intentionally into my mind, even more recently. So yeah, absolutely. And the amount that they charge is very ridiculous. And taking it out of our check, it's like I don't even understand why they take it out of our check. And I understand it's going towards people. They mention and they say that it's going towards people who are in need and who currently have Medicare. But I'm like, well, if these same people are calling us because of a deficiency, where is this money really going? Because you guys surely take it out of our taxes on our weekly or bi-weekly checks. You know, like, that doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, deductibles, like that amount that you pay before your insurance plan kicks in, they really should have taught us about that. I agree, because it really would have saved us a lot of time. It really would have saved us a lot of time. But yeah, man, like my heart really breaks, man. Like, and that movie specifically really highlights that message in so many ways. I think that movie taught me the message of compassion early. That movie really taught me about compassion towards people who are underserved and underprivileged. Yeah, like, you can't be a good Samaritan and not empathize with people who are, quote unquote, less than, right? It's impossible. It's impossible. You cannot do it. But again, Denzel, he didn't win any awards for that, but I always say a piece of art doesn't have to win an award in order to be impactful or effective. It just has to touch people where they are. And so that movie is timeless, and I still rank it like in my second favorite Denzel Washington movie. My first favorite Denzel Washington movie has always been Remember the Titans. That's always been my first one. Yes, it is based off a true story. Yeah. And it's the thing is, the true story is not even condensed down to like one specific person. It's a global true story, because so many people are in that position of John Q. So many people are in that position. And, you know, a lot of people are silently festering. They are mad and they are pissed because they don't have a context for what does adequate health care look like.